Hi, everyone. Welcome to Your Disabled Joy. My name is Nico, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a white man with large blue and brown spectacles, blonde hair, and a black headset, wearing a blue flannel shirt. I'm seated against a bookcase and a purple wall. And like about 25% of the US population, I'm disabled. Non-disabled people might see our lives as tragic, flawed, or pitiful, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a pretty long time now, and I think there's also room for disabled joy. The disability community has as many members as it has opinions, which is why I've asked my friend Chris Angel here with me today to talk about disabled joy. Hello, Chris Angel. It's good to see you.
Hello, it's good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Can you share a joyful memory with me? It could have to do with your disabled experience, or it could be totally separate. Both are valid.
Yeah, I definitely want to lean toward using one that's more related to me being disabled.
Okay.
My answer is a little complicated in that it's a series of moments that has led to joy. So finding out I'm ADHD and autistic in particular has been really powerful for me. At first, it didn't feel so great because I had a lot of misconceptions that I was working through and misinformation, and honestly was worried that it would make my life a lot harder in several ways. And so yeah, it didn't feel great initially. However, I now feel and experience a lot of joy because I understand myself so much better and how I work. It's almost like I've been given an instruction manual for my brain, which is incredibly helpful. Didn't know that we came with those. And I'm constantly learning more because I'm still early in this journey yet. I've really only figured this out within the past couple of years, but it's such a difference because I don't feel broken anymore or confused trying to and being unable to articulate why yeah, I was feeling the way I was, or being able to piece together seemingly unrelated events, behaviors, and actions. Like I just wasn't seeing any patterns that I could recognize in any way that was meaningful. So continuing that thread, joy is seeing people share about being ADHD and or autistic when they're doing that online, like on social media, and normalizing their experiences more and more. It's also sharing neurodivergent memes with my friends and being able to laugh at how relatable some of them are. About 5 minutes before our conversation, I sent a water meme to my friends to remind them to drink water because it is a constant issue for us. And also just in sharing my story and being honest about everything I've been experiencing through discovering this about myself, my friends are starting to recognize and see some of themselves in this too. So some of them have gotten diagnosed or now are more curious about it. So that's also joy because that means I'm in and with community. So I would say that's my joyful memory, is just sort of this series of how all of those events have unfolded and where I'm at now with it.
That's actually a really beautiful answer. Thank you so much. I feel honored to be audience to that mini saga or that mini epic. Good on you for questing, Chris Angel.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Have there been ways where your disability has impacted or intersected with how you pursue joy or your ability to pursue happiness?
Yeah, it impacts it a lot. And it's taken me a while to understand how my ADHD and autism show up for me specifically. So even thinking about planning events like hanging out with friends, right? I have to think about my capacity, my energy. Pride Month is chaos for me right now because I'm an LGBTQ plus speaker, trainer, and consultant. So I have warned my friends well in advance before the month hit, like, you probably won't hear from me. We're probably not going to be able to hang out. I'm going to be so tired. Please let me sleep and nap. And so, yeah, my friends know I'm not as available, but most of the time I prefer more low-key activities. And historically, I couldn't tell you why. And now I understand it's because of my sensory needs. And so now that I can be honest with myself and figure out, like, why am I upset right now? What's going on? I can pinpoint certain sensory experiences that don't feel good. So it's not that I can't go to concerts or something like that, especially for artists I really love. I have to plan it, and I have to make sure I'll have enough energy that day. And maybe because it's a high sensory experience, like I'm going to a live podcasting event tonight, because of that, I'm not going to be like available to hang out afterward, because I'm going to want to process, and I'm just going to want to come home and just like be somewhere quiet and decompress in that way. But you know that also sometimes will mean maybe I don't have as many plans the next day too, just in case. It's also meant sometimes canceling last minute, which doesn't feel great. I don't like doing that, and I've had to have that talk with my friends so they better understand. And it just feels honored to be it feels better to be honest about my capacity, or at least give my friends a heads up that I'm extra low energy that night, so that I'm excited to hang out, but maybe I just want to be more of a wallflower and participate in that way. And so joy and happiness looks like my friends being flexible as I continue to understand how my body is changing, and with these disabilities that are new to me, and just understanding the complexities of them. And they also appreciate the opportunity to know that I offer them the same respect and support. I think something that really surprised me was I was meeting with a new friend, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, and she had asked me ahead of time, like, what I don't remember the exact phrasing, but she had asked basically what my sensory needs were for us to hang out, because she wanted to know, like, if I wanted fidget toys or things like that. I'd never been asked that before. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I love this so much. So the last thing I would say to that is that it also means I have to prioritize my joy and happiness. And that means two things for me specifically in terms of time on my calendar, and also what is most important for me to do because of my ADHD. I don't like to hear this, but I cannot do everything I want to do. So I can't always follow my rabbit holes. So I have to prioritize what that joy and happiness is going to look like. And yeah, so I don't try to push my body, especially knowing that I'm going to pay for it later and I'll never know the cost until it's too late. And it's just not worth it to do that. Like how many days in bed I'd have to be afterwards or something like that. So yeah, it impacts it a lot. But again, it's being better equipped and better understanding of my situation and my needs so I can better communicate that, and then holding that same space for the people in my life too, so that we can just normalize that for like across the board.
I love this community that you've built for yourself very intentionally and really transparently. I'm also drawn back to what you said in your first response about having an instruction manual for yourself. I really saw that theme reflected in your answer here for the second question. Thank you. This is actually like kind of beautiful in a way.
Thanks. Yeah, it's nice to be able to talk about this because these are things I haven't thought intentionally about until our conversation today. So thank you for that opportunity for reflection.
Of course, may we all have that grace and space to reflect on our own growth. So, Chris Angel, you did mention that these disabilities are new to you, that this experience might be new overall. However, in your brief time with us, what do you want everyone else, the rest of the world, to know about disabled life or disabled quality of life?
This is a tricky one, but how I feel moved to answer it is I want to say that overall, I do feel like my quality of life is great. It's just that it does require extra planning, and we all need accommodations.
Mhm.
So people don't think about it this ways, but stairs are an accommodation. They've just been so normalized that we don't think about it because we think about ramps or maybe an escalator or elevator instead, but stairs are accessibility. So all of us are moving about in the world with accessibility in mind. And maybe not necessarily for others to make sure that everyone is in a space that's accessible, but we're still thinking about it, at least for ourselves. And it just takes more energy for me to do some of the same tasks as another person. So a shower, let's say a unit of measurement is I don't know, 1 credit normally for most folks. For me, it might end up being 3 credits to do that same task for any particular reason. And maybe it was because, like, the previous night it was hard to sleep and I don't have as much rest as I'd hoped for. What is not as great is that accessibility is costly for me. And so to get the help and support I need, sometimes it means I'm really going without it because I don't always financially have the means to make that happen. And I think even in a more simplistic way to think about this, I mean, people get upset because they'll see something like pre-sliced or cut pineapple in the grocery store, right? And the environmentalist in me is like, yeah, no more plastic. This is awful. Except that, who needs that pre-cut pineapple? I do, because yes, I'm an environmentalist and I hate that it's more plastic. And I also hate buying a pineapple knowing darn well it's going to just rot away. I'm going to end up throwing it
Yeah.
away because I will have thought that I would have the spoons and energy to cut it and do whatever and store it. And then I don't. And then I'm being more wasteful. Whereas if I just buy it pre-cut, I will eat it like no problem and then deal with the guilt of the plastic, but at least I'm eating it. So it's like which less evil do I choose, right?
Sure.
So yeah, I guess that's what I would say, and that it's important for us to remember too that it's not a matter of if we are disabled, but when. And knowing that, again, all of us need accommodation. So the more we can normalize it and creating space for people to ask for what they need and making sure that we're thinking about things with accessibility in mind, the better for everybody.
Thank you so much. These are really wise words. You're right. Disabled people are one of the world's only groups that you can join at any time. Anyone could. I see you in that, definitely. Thank you, Chris Angel.
Yeah.
My last planned question is one that I asked all my interviewees, regardless of project. Is there a recent win that you want to name that you would like help in celebrating so that we can celebrate along with you? Or if not, what are some cool projects you're doing? How would you promote yourself? This is really your space to brag, to get up on your own soapbox. If you're open to connecting, where can people find you online? This is your chance to be your own cheerleader. So please.
Well, thank you. I'm not great at doing that, so I will give it a shot though.
Okay.
I'd say as far as a recent win / cool things that I'm doing, because it's kind of combined. I have a podcast called Allyship is a Verb, and as of this year, it is triple award nominated. No wins yet, but triple award nominated, which is really exciting. And I'm also, I can't really say a lot because this isn't like signed, sealed, etc. But
Sure.
I'm working on a potential book deal with a wonderful publisher, which is not something I was anticipating on the bingo card of this year. So very exciting things are happening. And even just being approached and pitched to for that kind of opportunity has been amazing. So that's what I want to celebrate. As far as where people can find me, I'm mostly on Instagram at gender sexuality info and on LinkedIn as Chris Angel Murphy. And yeah, I think that's all I've got for you. I think I
really
answered your question.
fantastic. You
Thank
did.
you.
Of course. I've actually really loved this conversation. I saw my own experiences reflected at times. I thought about the theme of disability in ways that perhaps I've not done yet, or perhaps haven't done in a while. And so for that, I thank you, Chris Angel. Audience, tune in next time. And remember, I'm rooting for you.